Hi, this is Mark Newbold from Fantha Tracks, and you're listening to the Rebel Base Card podcast. Great pull, kid.
I like firsts. Good or bad, they're always memorable.
Everything's gonna be all right, kid.
You found the Rebel Base Card podcast.
She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts, kid.
I'm your host, Greg McLaughlin.
Have I made a few bad decisions? Sure.
We talk about cards, collecting Star Wars, and to people in the Star Wars community.
Don't worry, we're gonna meet up with some friends of mine.
Look for special episodes called The Breakfast Pack, talking about your favorite Star Wars shows.
We will never have a better chance than this.
All right, let's get started.
Well, perhaps it is time to begin again.
Welcome back, or if this is your first episode, welcome aboard. My name is Greg McLaughlin, and this is the Rebel Base Card Podcast. And as you can hear in the background, I am at Olympia Exposition Centre here for the second day of London Film and Comic-Con and part 2 of our LFCC coverage. In the earlier episode, Daz Davies and I kind of broke down day one and really kind of gave sort of not only a lay of the land, but basically our experiences here in what was a very crowded hall with lots of folks, but also a lot of celebrities, artists, makers, vendors, and really was quite a buzz, although I would say that the temperature and it was quite tight and it was very hot. Today this is Sunday, of course, but also the vibe is just so much different. It's a little cooler. You could probably even get away with wearing one shirt today, but I've already said too much about that. But I would say that, there was even some great things happening today. Daz, who's been with me all weekend, had some great experiences today we'll get to in a little bit. Myself, great experiences, and I had a chance to do a few more interviews today, but I just wanted to say for this episode, if you're joining us for the first time, maybe I talk to you as well. These convention shows, I usually just kind of run the interviews back to back, and you'll usually find out who it is within the interview, and I would also say check out the show description where I'm going to try to put as many of the handles as possible. That way, if you find like, hey, I'd like to know more about what they were talking about or their work, you can go follow them as well. So I'm just going to run down this list. I had a chance to talk with Topps artists Nick Gribbon and Carl Jones. They both had booths here in Artist Alley. Jamie Richards, who is a Topps artist as well, has done some Star Wars sets like the other two. He didn't have a table, but he was kind of running around just meeting and greeting everybody. He was lovely. We talked with both Mark Mulcaster and Mark Newbold from Fantha Tracks. Mark Mulcaster, of course, who was also at the Rebel Legion, he was donning his Rebel pilot outfit for some of the day, and him and Mark, we kind of tailed behind them as they were doing their walk and talk for the Making Tracks episode, and it was great because they were clearing a path for Daz and I, so it was great following them around for a little bit. Shelly Afra Cosplay, she a friend of Jamie's, and we had a chance to talk during our interview. Lovely. She was doing this really awesome Jedi, and it was really fun talking to her as well. This morning I had a chance to talk with Luke Winchester and Danny Parnell. They were actually interviewing Nick Gribbon, and I was like, I wonder what they're going to interview him about, because I did yesterday. But they were doing some video as well, and we had a chance to chat afterwards. Luke Winchester was the one who kind of did the Nick Blood and Alex Ferns panel yesterday. And then to kind of wrap things up, we got a chance to talk with another artist, Benjamin Paulus, who has done some work for Star Wars Unlimited. So it was really kind of great to finally get a chance to talk with one of the Star Wars Unlimited artists and kind of see how his process was. And of course, all through this, you'll hear stories from myself and Daz, who had some amazing times. So I'm not going to spoil it, but I want to get into the interviews, and I'm going to see you on the other side. I hope you enjoy.
This is Mark Mulcaster from Fantha Tracks, and you are listening to the Rebel Base Card Podcast. Great pull, kid.
We're in attack position now, sir.
Hold here.
We're not going to attack.
I have my orders from the Emperor himself. He has something special planned for him. We only need to keep him from escaping.
I just might need a moment after that, Nick. I just watched Colin Baker just walk past, and as you were telling me, you got the catbird seat here for some celebrities, right?
Yeah, they're all walking past here, yeah.
How often do you come here, and how would you size London Film and Comic-Con to maybe some other cons in the area?
This one's one of the bigger ones. The biggest one is probably MCM, Comic-Con, and then this one. Monopoly are coming up now. They're doing a lot bigger shows. So I'll be doing one in Birmingham next weekend with them. Yeah.
And for an artist like yourself, you've done work for Topps, you've done work for a lot of different companies. How do you find the crowd here for someone like yourself in sort of like more the high-end artist alley?
Well, yeah, it's good. I mean, I've got a lot of. I do sketch covers as well as sketch cards. So, and yeah, there's a lot of. I'd say I sell more of them at these sort of events. Yeah, there's more the sort of art collectors at London Film and Comic Con and MCM. Yeah, definitely.
One of the things I always enjoy is when I see artists who have their work signed by like maybe the actor or the voice actor. Do you ever see that kind of coming back or maybe posted online?
Well, I like to do that, yeah. If there's guests that I want to draw a picture of, yeah, I'll try and find a comic cover that I can draw of them, and then I'll get it signed by them. I've got quite a few of them on the desk at the moment, yeah, to show people.
And, for someone like myself, it's my first time here. What are some key things that I should probably take in and make sure I see? No pressure on you to make sure I have the perfect event or anything.
Do you mean for the convention or just London genre? Upstairs is an artist alley. Upstairs there's lots of British comic book artists and other ones, European ones, I guess, as well. I'm not sure. There might be some Americans. But yeah, you want to go up there and have a look at there because there's lots from like Transformers artists from the 80s and things like that. I mean, that's the sort of thing I like.
That's cool. And then some of the sets you've been working on this year for Topps, I know you can never discuss things that are in play, but what are some of the sets you've been in the last year or so?
Oh, well, I did Topps Chrome last year. Well, I did all of the ones last year, so Chrome, Hyperspace, Galaxy Chrome. What else? Oh, Galactic Antiquities, there was the big one last year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was lucky enough to get on that. And then, yeah, I've done 4 sets for this year that will be coming out so far. Wow. So, yeah, they're ones to look forward to that I don't know when they'll be coming out. I think there's one next month. I think Galaxy Chrome is the next one, so I think that's been announced, so I can say that one. But apart from that, I don't know when they'll be out. Yeah.
And then just lastly, I'm meeting you for the first time, though. Who's your favorite character to kind of draw? I know it's hard to pick favorites, but what do you really just kind of love getting into?
Well, Ahsoka's my favorite to draw. And there's many different versions of it to draw. So, you've got the earlier ones, the Padawan version, and then there's the later, like Series 7, which is my favorite one. And then you've got Rebels, and then live action, and, there's so many different versions of it to draw, excuse me, that you can do whatever you want, with those.
And just lastly, to let people know where they can find you online, or where's the best way to connect?
Yeah, well, I'm on Instagram. It's @deadallover. I used to do a lot of zombie artwork. But yeah, I might be changing that soon. But so you can find me on Instagram there and see all my work.
Well, Nick, thank you for helping me sort of crack this convention open for myself. And it was a pleasure running into you.
Yeah, and you. Yeah, great. I hope you have an amazing day.
Hi there, this is Dan Zare from Coffee with Kenobi, and you are listening to the Rebel Base Card Podcast. Great pull, kid.
Well, I am in a corner, and I have cornered one of the Making Tracks team. That would be one Mark Mulcaster. Can you explain to me a little bit about how you have to set up here and what your mission is this weekend?
To be honest, right, our mission here this weekend is just to have a bit of fun. I mean, we do some shows where the priority and the focus is collecting for charities, and other ones where it's like, you know what, we're just going to kind of just relax, just kind of set up something that's nice and easy to kind of manage, and then just let the customers kind of have a bit more kind of free time as well. Because there are some events that we do whereby you have to be very regimented. So when we do Pinewood Studios, for example, that's quite a strict kind of procedure you have to follow. Here it's well, let's just, let's kind of take the foot off the pedal a little bit and kind of let people kind of have fun, so which I think's got to be part of it, right? So.
But, you are sort of the CEO of the Rebel Legion, so it's there's fun, but then you're also trying to make sure people have fun.
Exactly. I mean, and I suppose when I started being the base commanding officer of Elstree Base, I noticed that there is a transition from me being more concerned about my own enjoyment as a member to actually kind of getting more enjoyment out of the fact that A, the event's running smoothly, and B, the rest of the troopers are having fun. Because ultimately, if they're having fun, let's be fair, they're probably not moaning. So therefore, I can kind of like relax and stuff. So, you know.
And I'm sure you have, each year you have people who, like, in the Legion, this is maybe their first troupe, or so what kind of advice are you giving them?
So the advice here, like for a show like London Film Comic Con, you kind of have to take the weather into consideration. So unfortunately, London Olympia is quite an old exhibition hall, and I know they're doing a lot of extensive work to kind of build it and modernise it, but the aircon's not great. So it's a whole thing. Pace yourself, make sure you stay hydrated, and most importantly, don't be a hero. In other words, if you want to take 15, 20 minutes, an hour to sit down and kind of chill out, by all means do so. I mean, we kind of work things a little bit differently over here, so we don't tend to arrive in costume, so we have our own changing area. The wristbands are provided by showmasters very kindly, so we don't pay for them, so therefore it's normally a limited quantity of members we can have in a show. But then the flip side is they're not having to pay for a ticket, so they are also kind of here to work. But like I said, you've got to find a balance, because ultimately people are giving up their free time. It's their weekend. They may have worked all through the week, so therefore you've got to kind of give them a bit of like scope to kind of have fun. Otherwise, what's the point?
Exactly. Now, over the weekend, are you going to be able to kind of get away, go hit the floor, maybe grab an auto, or is that just not in the cards?
So the plan this weekend is that we are going to hopefully induct both Vel and Sintra into the Rebel Legion. Faye and about a down signing. So I haven't paid for an autograph yet, so I'll probably queue up and pay for the autograph. So at least we're not just rocking up to a table unannounced, and then we'll just gauge how it is in terms of like how the crowd's going. Sometimes you find it's better to do it like near the end of the day. Other times it's sometimes better. You just and again in this circumstances, showmasters are very accommodating. Sometimes we can normally nip into after the end of like a photo shoot, but it all depends upon how the day's running for them. How's their schedule? Are they behind? If they're behind, then there's no chance and stuff like that. So, but if you pay for an auto, it kind of gives you that little bit more kind of scope to kind of like spend a bit of time there and stuff and that. So I've got the plaques, I've got the badges, and yeah, hopefully we'll see that. And hopefully at some point, I mean it's still a few hours away, but my co-host Mr. Newbold's going to rock up. So he's hosting a panel. I don't know whose panel it is, but he's hosting a panel today. And then we're going to get a chance, hopefully, to wander and pretty much do what you're doing. So if we find you again, Greg, I'll stick a microphone in your face.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's like, advice for finding Mark Newbold, because I'm sure you have to have him on a leash.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is with Mark is that he's easily over 6 foot, so he's quite easy to spot. So, but yeah, sometimes it's difficult to kind of pin him down. But actually, in fairness, like I said, he's only doing one panel today, so he is busy, like in the community generally. But today, hopefully, means that we can spend a bit of time and stuff and have a wander, have a chat, and talk about Star Wars news and then what have you, and just see what's going on. So yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to let you get back to it. I'm going to try to find that panel later. But once again, I always like going, when I punch upstairs to a bigger podcast, I go,
we're not a bigger podcast. We're not big.
But where can people find you?
Okay, so you can find me as a co-host on Making Tracks, which is part of the Fantha Tracks news network. And if you want to hit me up on social media, then you are more than welcome to hit me up as markbase_81. That's on Instagram. But more importantly, follow Rebel Legion UK on any social media, and that's the Rebel Legion base. So,
Mark, it was a pleasure meeting you. I can't wait to share the weekend with you. So.
Absolutely, man. Let's have a good weekend.
Hi, this is David Motters.
And I'm Aaron Harris of Star Wars Reaction Podcast.
And you're listening to the Rebel Base Card Podcast.
Great pull, kid. Carabas.
Perfect. I like that better.
It's kind of funny because I've been kind of seeing how the differences is here. I mean, a lot of it's the same as far as, a crowded venue, poor cell phone reception, long queues, although I've been in a number today, and so I don't think the expectations were hurt. It was just, it is what it is, but the random bumping into you, if you would have kept that hat on, Jamie, I don't think I would have found it all, but it's great to see you.
It was the shirt that gave it away. So what's your actual name? I'm going to know it, but I just can't remember it at the minute. It is Greg. No, I didn't know that. Sorry.
Well, no, we were talking before, like, I've seen people at conventions that have, I know their Instagram handle, and I go, hey, it's so-and-so, and I'm like, oh, it's only Jamie. But it is all a part of a brand. But I'm kind of curious, what brings you willingly into a place with poor air conditioning, poor cell service, and long lines? Is it just our love of the fandom?
Yeah, no, it's... no matter what you're here for, no matter what part of the fandom you're involved in, it's always going to be a quality day. Definitely.
I think there is a gravity that just pulls you here to be with like-minded individuals. I saw you catch up with numerous friends that you may only see at a place like this.
Yeah, definitely. There's certainly... again, especially with the rise in the online community, where, as you said, most people know people by... Here's the lovely Davina. Hello, Davina. We were literally just talking about people we never get to see. This is Davina Ellsworth. What's your cosplay name?
Oh, Magenta. A pun on magenta.
I love the outfit as well.
Thank you very much.
Well, disappointingly, she normally does Dr. Aphra, but every time I see her, she intentionally doesn't do Dr. Aphra. So,
well, and then when I see people coming in cosplay here, or at any convention, knowing that it's going to be like 1,000,000 degrees, my heart goes out, because I know, I'm not going to really smell very sweet at the end. But you guys really put it out there just for doing what you're doing. So can you talk to me about your outfit, because this is audio only?
Sort of pink Jedi. I first created it because the group I cosplay with, Essex Cosplayers, was doing fundraising for the Tickled Pink campaign. So see, pink, I thought, well, Jedi, let's make it pink. And to be honest, I had such a good time wearing it that now I just like being a pink Jedi.
But also what's nice is, because it's a little more unique, you probably get pulled into a ton of photos from people going, hey, I like it. So it does kind of help to be a little different.
Yeah, certainly does.
How many times have you done London Film and Comic-Con?
Including spring and winter, probably kind of like high single figures. I only started coming to Comic-Con in 2022. So, still quite new to the game, really.
And I was going to say, for a first-timer like me, as I'm pegging Jamie for tips, first time to LFCC, what are some of the big things that I should be looking out for or making sure I don't do?
Plan your queuing.
I'm picking that up already.
Yeah. Particularly, obviously, transatlantic accent there. We like to queue in the UK, and we're making a real habit of it here.
Do you have an online presence you'd like to pimp real fast?
Ooh, that's an excellent question. So let me double check what my Insta handle is. So it's Shelly Afra _cosplay.
Nice to make your acquaintance. I'll let you talk with Jamie for a second, and then we'll continue.
Go on, you crack on, and I'll see you in a bit.
Hi, this is Femi Taylor. I play Ula in Return of the Jedi, Jabba the Hutt's slave dancer. You're listening to the Rebel Base Card Podcast.
One of the things I do like about going to cons, and now even coming over here, is the number of people now that I know from interacting with folks online like yourself, and especially within the card community or the Star Wars community. But are those some of the things you just kind of like when you come here?
Yeah, I mean to put it in a not a better context, but a context. We said earlier that we're heading out to LA October, November time. And we've done America we visit America quite regularly, and I'd say in the last couple of years, the amount of friends I've made online, in the card community, but also in the film community, has expanded, exponentially, shall we say, and it's quite nice to be able to. In the same way that going to LA, I think we've got half a dozen little dinner dates, and with people in the industry, card people, and in the movie industry, and it's the same coming to these events. We've all the pace of life has increased so much. no one's got any time. Everyone's always busy. You just don't get the chance to see people socially. So at an event like this, you know, we're stood here now in the main causeway for the signings and the autographs and the photos. You're seeing people go by every couple of seconds, and you're just grabbing a bit of time, you know, little hug, just connecting. There's Daniel over there, who's a very famous autograph hunter. He's the guy just in front of us there. Oh, wow. So, you know, and again, you know, we're social media friends, never see each other socially, and yet here we are. No doubt we'll see him in a minute. But yeah, it's insane. It's a great to treat it like a opportunity to meet your favourite actor or your favourite artist is great. But I think also a lot of people come to catch up with the people that they don't normally get to see. So, you know, everyone wins, really.
And I do, you know, like, I think the pressure's on every showrunner or, you know, people to put things on, just because I think over the last several years, pop culture interest has increased, attendance increases, prices increase, number of people queuing increase. And so even if you have done it before, it just seems like in some cases you have to kind of wipe the board every year, because I don't know if anybody could really pull this off without a hitch. I just think just because of the number of sheer people that are coming in and their expectations of.
Oh, definitely. And there's, you know, as you say, you know, looking at the calendar here, every weekend there's probably 5, 10, 15 events happening all around the UK. It has exploded, and you know, I don't look at it from a business point of view, but at some point there will be an implosion. The fact that there are only so many. Hello. It's the Indra, is that her name? Girl from Andor and Doctor Who just went past. Very good, very friendly. Good to see. But I do wonder whether they're, you know, going on the slightly negative side, I do wonder if there's going to be an implosion at some point. Jason Joyner, the organiser of this entire event, just the lad in the blue t-shirt over there, blue shirt rather. He is the big cheese. It's good to know he is responsible for all of this. But yeah, all good. But yeah, I do wonder, you know, there's an infinite amount of events with a finite amount of guests. You know, which is great for the guests, you know, great for the, you know, the lower tiers like me, so to speak. But you do wonder if it will reach a point where people on limited income, they've now got to pick and choose what events they go to. Certainly doesn't seem the case here, because it looks absolutely rammed.
Hi, this is Colby Mead from the Colby Cast. And you're so wrong, dude.
Ross, stop it. Just stop it.
I could not resist right there. I'm just too punchy right now.
He's the one keeping you guys out of bed, not me at this point.
Well, I tell you, and you almost have to say the same as we kind of transition a bit into cards, where there's been an enormous increase in the popularity of cards since COVID.
Yeah.
Your line of work, you know, you do sketch art, and you do what I love is a very unique type of sketch art. But on the one hand, I can say it's great that you're riding that wave, but you almost have to wonder, like, are you looking down the road going, is this going to continue to be this popular?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, you know, bringing it around to cards. There's 4, you know, and you know, I'm not talking about weekend events in a sports hall or a community centre, but I know there's 4 major card collecting events on the calendar for later in the year and then early next year. I can't give a shout out to them all because I can't remember, but you've got one happening here at Olympia, who are a fairly established group. There's one event being put together by Paul Lorio, Pablo, and I can't remember his Instagram name, so you have to forgive me for that, Paul. So yeah, there's lots of card events, and again a lot of the regional ones as well. So anywhere between Pokemon, trading card games, and collectible cards, we are seeing a massive boom. And again, it's just being in the eye of the hurricane, so to speak, as Greedo going by. McClunky, I think I've drawn him on a card once, and a very decent collector who was after a sketch card from each artist on that set.
I think this guy in the Greedo shirt needs to go after Greedo over there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think he's again staring down at his phone, looking for the next guest signing, I imagine. But
we should get a picture with Greedo over there. Full Greedo.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Straight ahead.
There you go. Not easy to miss in a crowd. But no, it's good. I think it's a very good time for the card community and for collectors in general. You know, and it's nice to be a part of it. You know.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to turn you back loose on the crowd here. Be here all weekend, but I am kind of curious. You do have some upcoming work that you're not going to talk about, but it's upcoming, yes?
Yeah, no, I think I can talk about them. I think they're pretty much known. So I'm doing, I've finished a set for SMC, which is Saturday Morning Cards, who are phenomenal to work for. One of the best independent card companies. So the latest set I've done for them is the Rocketeer, which is a real bucket list. Huge fan of the film. Unfortunately, we can only draw stuff. It's something to do with the size of the rocket pack. So it's basically based on the comic version, not the film version. But you know, if you're drawing a bunch of Rocketeer helmets, it's pretty much all in. So I've just done those. I've got a set for Long Dog cards, Time Bandits, based on the classic 1981 film. So I'm really, really looking forward to starting those. Probably Monday, try and get those done this week, next week. Interesting fact, for fans of the film anyway, the one remaining Time Bandit lives just around the corner from me in Southend. Mike Edmonds, bless him. Little shout out to Mike. So I'm hoping that he can be involved in the card set. Normally they do autographs and stuff. What else have we got? Doing another set for Dynamite. Pope Leo, randomly, going from...
That's right.
It is, yeah, proper random, from Time Bandits to the new Pope. And no doubt there'll be another Star Wars set from Fanatics on its way soon. I just finished a batch for Chrome. Quite pleased with those. Came out quite nicely. And again, you know, a little shout out to all my people who are chasing commissions and outstanding commissions. Apologies to all. Robert Mercer, I love you, I adore you. Thank you for being so patient. You know, the entire community should be like Robert Mercer. So all of that.
All right, and just lastly, where can people find you online or get a hold of you to check out your work?
Probably Instagram at It's Only Jamie 1, the number 1. So yeah, It's Only Jamie 1 on Instagram.
Fantastic. Well, I know we've got maybe a little longer sit down in definitely conditions over Zoom that I guarantee you will be better airwise, but it was a pleasure to run into finally. Once again, proving everybody in this fandom is taller than me. I would just go on record. Jamie is much taller. Nick Gribbon was taller. Yeah, Mark Newbold also taller.
Yeah, Newbold. Yeah. Newbold is a giant amongst men in many ways.
All right. Well, I will catch you on the floor, and good to see you.
No, thank you very much. Thanks for supporting the community. Thanks for everything you do. We all appreciate it.
Hey, this is Jalen Warner, and you're listening to the Rebel Base Rebel Base Card.
It's not as easy as it looks, is it?
No, it's not.
There's such a center of gravity here that even people you don't see on a regular basis, or maybe have acquaintances with, they'll just bump into them. So it's one long, hey there. That must be what it's like.
It is, yeah. It's nice. I like that. I enjoy just bumping into folks and having a chit chat and catching up. It's one of the Japan was a bit like that. It was weird that we were walking around Disneyland and somebody randomly came up to Matt, who takes care of our Instagram, and said, "Are you Matt from Fantha Tracks?" And he didn't have a Fantha shirt on. He just recognised Matt, and it was just mad in the nicest possible way. And so here, yeah, I mean, we're lucky because we've been on the scene for a long time through me doing Lightsaber and then Jedi News and now Fantha. And actually, Fantha, I'm approaching as long doing Fantha as I did Lightsaber. That was 10 years. You know, you get to know a lot of people, so, you know, there'll be dealers that you know, or there'll be people from other websites, or not so much websites these days, but other podcasts and just social media outlets. And it's nice, it's just a crowd of... You were speaking to Jamie Richards earlier, and I've known Jamie for a good few years now and tend to see Jamie at a lot of events, and it's just a nice, warm, you know, welcoming place. And then being at, you know, LFCC here at Olympia, you know, as Fantha Tracks, we've been doing this since 2018, you know, and then for years before that became when I was with Jedi News. And so, you know, for me personally with this event, there's quite a long association, and there's not a Star Wars stage this time. I think the building's changed, there's a lot of renovation, they've probably not got the room. Various occurrences meant they couldn't put on a spring show, so they've kind of merged as much as they can. So they're limited on room. So, but that's fine, there's loads of Star Wars guests. You've travelled over, you know, there's this Sander from Fantha's come over from Belgium, and there's people from all over the place. So, you know, Star Wars, it just brings people together.
And one of the things I was just sitting in amazement, we just went through a panel, but, you know, you just got off the train, you know, maybe, you know, you just got here 30 or so minutes ago, yeah. But you went straight into where you had to go in front of an audience, talking to an actress, and it was just as comfortable, as warm, and like I said, you know, she seemed very nice to talk to, lovely. And I didn't know a lot about her, but I was like, we all of a sudden clicked in, and I'm like, wow, it really seemed like a conversation. I'm going, this is going for a long time, so it must be nice for you to kind of come in cold, get in, and it was just great.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'd never met her before. Well, I say that. I went to her desk earlier, quickly introduced myself. Hi, I'm Mark. I'm interviewing you on stage in 10 minutes. We had a quick little to and fro. Check she's okay for us to record it, of course, because that's what you should do. And she was. And away we went. I've done a little bit of research. I mean, generally, a lot of folks that we speak to, and you'll find this because we're in and around Star Wars all the time, a lot of folks, you wouldn't need to do much research on them. But I thought I know nothing about Gerald other than she played Actrapor in Ahsoka Season 1 and possibly, presumably, maybe Season 2. And I know enough about the Night Sisters, but I didn't know anything else about her career. So I did a little bit of a Google search, which is always a risk because, you know, Wikipedia is not always right. And I didn't ask her the one question I really wanted to ask her, so I'm going to go and ask her in a minute. But it was just enough to get the conversation going. And like you say, you know, she was so conversational, it just kind of flowed. And I think pretty quickly you get a sense of whether or not people want to converse, and she clearly was very happy chatting. And I don't think it's a vanity thing, because obviously she's talking about herself, right. But actually in the broader sense she was talking about her career, about the process of what she does, folding in what she'd done in her previous careers, because she didn't really start acting until she was sort of 40, and I'm still baffled that she's 60. My goodness, she's whatever she's doing, she needs to keep doing it. She's gorgeous, but it was just a very easy conversation. And also I think she was one of those folks that when you're talking to her, she's actually looking at you as you're talking to her. So you mentioned the audience. I caught a few people's eyes in the crowd, but I don't tend to watch the audience too much. I'm trying to watch them, because I think if you're talking to somebody on stage, I don't tend to normally take notes with me. I did this time because I didn't want to miss out on a couple of beats. And again, as I say, I didn't know an awful lot about her. I certainly do now. But I think sometimes when you're talking to people and you kind of, it's almost like you're distracted if you're not watching what they're saying. And also I think when you chat to somebody like Gerald, or anybody really, you can ask a question, and if you're not smart or savvy enough to listen to the answer, you're missing out on possibly a really great follow-up question that can just take you down a whole other avenue of questioning. We could have talked for that half an hour and not even mentioned Ahsoka. You know, it would have been very easy to not do that. Of course, most people in the room are here to see her because she was in Walking Dead and Ahsoka. They're the two big things, so would have done them a disservice as much as her not to talk about Ahsoka. But yeah, I do enjoy doing those on-stage chats.
And kind of lastly, it's like you've done this enough to where you kind of know what you're capable of. You and Mark are kind of doing a bit of a walk and talk.
Yeah.
In your head also, do you sort of have sort of a checklist of what you're trying to get out of here today? Because anything that's recorded is gold as far as you're concerned, because of the time and all that you need to do.
That's very true, because I say I live 2 hours north on the train, so there's a 4-hour round trip to factor in before I do anything. So yeah, hopefully that's recorded. You never know with technology. We'll find out. I'll find out soon enough. And I'll hopefully speak to Gerald. I know Faye Marseille's here. I did a press junket with her a while ago, so hopefully I'll be able to remind her of that and get a couple of minutes, but maybe not because everyone's busy. And there's enough other folks here that even if I didn't speak to another actor or performer, I'm speaking to you, that's worthwhile. I'm speaking to Mark, that's worthwhile. There's other folks here, Dave Tree, who I used to co-host the show with back in the day. He's here as a dealer, that's worthwhile. So even if I'm not walking away with, an hour's worth of content, which I'd like to, but if I don't, it's not a problem. It's another good opportunity to touch base with people, yourself, see you, and see a lot of the folks. And it just keeps you in people's sort of minds as well, because one other thing is that algorithms on social media are not what they used to be. So people that you would see all the time coming up on your Facebook feed just don't turn up on your Facebook feed anymore. So it's more important, I think, than ever to see folks, quick handshake, how you doing, just touch base. Plus, it's just nice to see people.
And just lastly, I'm going to let you go and hopefully run into you again. Well, it's nice thing about this place, it's a circle, so you're going to run into the same people. But where can people find Fantha Tracks online?
Oh, Fantha Tracks. All the socials at Fantha Tracks, or just head to fanthatracks.com. Everything folds into the site. I know websites are kind of getting increasingly old-fashioned, but it'll always be the hub for us. So head to fanthatracks.com, and that's where you'll find us. But like you say, we've got 7 podcasts on the go, varying degrees of regularity, making tracks every Tuesday. So yeah, there's plenty going on.
Mark, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to meet you once again in person.
Always a pleasure to see you.
Hey, everybody, this is Ro Gazga from the Scare of Scuttlebutt podcast, where it's always sunny, and you are listening to the Rebel Base Card podcast. Let me do it again.
I was like, man, he's going to nail that in one take. Nope.
Nope, that's not me. All right.
I'm here with Carl Jones, another Tops sketch artist amongst Upper Deck and a lot of other companies. I am kind of curious the reaction you get. Like normally we're dealing with card collectors and folks who are specifically going after, but in shows like this where we have like civilians, like regular folks, what kind of reactions do you get to your cards from just regular fans out there?
In the UK, I think especially with Garbage Pail Kids, they still can't believe that they're still going. And so people sometimes bring stuff or ask me to sign stuff, even if like some of the base cards they ask me to sign just to get a signature of an artist. And I say, I didn't do that artwork for those, I do the sketches. But like it's such a positive thing. And as a collector as well, I have on my table some base cards and stuff from the sets, and some people are really like, I've never seen these before. It's like Upper Deck with like Aliens or Fallout. So part of my collection I put out for people to be able to see, and also if they want to buy, they can buy as well. So it's showing, and like a lot of people don't realise that Garbage Pail Kids UK is still going. Today the amount of comments, and hopefully then they'll go to Tops and get some more. But it's like even with Star Wars, a lot of people say at trading card shows there's not enough Star Wars or Tops rated products. It's all sports and Pokemon, and it's just people are happy to sort of see this, and they're happy as well to see that a collector is also an artist as well. So I thought it's kind of a nice opportunity to sort of chat with people and see what they like, and because I experiment with different things, I can sort of get a reaction on things, what sort of works and what doesn't work as well, and it's all just learning. But yeah, really good.
Another thing is that I think it's good to have a lot of different properties because you don't know what's going to click with somebody or you might come across. I love the stories you were talking earlier about like really being a fan of the thing and that one property that, you know, let's face it, it's not a large one, but you may come across if you're putting out enough stuff going, oh, that person, that movie, that thing was my favorite. And then you have to see the joy in their eyes when they see it.
Well, it's funny because I was a guest in Horrified a few months back, and there's a famous artist called Graham Humphreys, he did the Evil Dead posters, Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street ones as well, and he did a Thing poster. And I was at his table looking at his artist proof, and I spent a fortune. And his partner's a big fan of the Thing, and because they'd signed a few extra bits, I gave them one of the base cards. And I said, "Are you going to open it?" He said, "Yeah, he's going to open it." I said, "I'm curious what's in them because I'm too worried to open mine."
Hi there, this is Anthony from Forest Ghost Conversations, and you are listening to the Rebel Base Card Podcast. Great pull, kid.
But like every artist that I've encountered at these shows, we all got different styles, so we never kind of competing, and it's awesome, and it's also a learning curve. Like even down sometimes to Nick asked me where I got these from, and I sent him a link to it, or I asked him where did he get certain pens from. So that's things you can't really get when you're online. It's sort of like seeing it up close, what things look like, is completely different. Sort of being on Facebook and that. So the shows actually help artists, I think, as well.
Carl, I'm wondering what today on day one of LFCC, what have you kind of noticed that is bringing more attention, bringing more sales? Was it a surprise?
Garbage Pail Kids, always Garbage Pail Kids. It's like people that knew them from kids. They get anything like from a base card, and they go away. Then they take screenshots. It's every show I ever do. It's Garbage Pail Kids, and then like when they get from that site over here, they're like, "Oh, you do Star Wars as well," and then it's like, but it's at the moment with myself, I've put some of my graded cards out, so it's like I put them out for sale because I'm trying not to. That's another different ball game in itself, isn't it, with collecting? So I'm trying not to grade any more base cards from any sets. It's just too expensive now. There's just hundreds. So it's all good.
And then one of the things we kind of saw, you have some of the stuff that's you do have graded or you do have slabbed, and we talked to them a little more about if nothing else, if it's not for resale, it's mainly just to preserve the value. And I would say that for someone who does a lot of sketches, and I've seen other people do custom slabs or whatnot, it's nice because if you are a buyer, if you are a strong collector of sketches and you're buying something or you're commissioning something, this just adds a little nice presentation because when you're working on the cards, they get a little beat up when you are doing different effects on them, so this is a nice packaging.
Well, one of the things as well, it's like quite recently, my partner, as a Christmas present, she got some of the Garbage Pail Kids cards that have been, where they get like 3 cards and they look 3D. Mm-hmm. She had some custom done for me as a present, and she liked them so much she bought some more. And the guy's details are on the back, and we've shipped them from America, and people are actually loving them. So like, I don't know if you can see over there, I'm trying to persuade him to maybe do something similar with Star Wars, and he slabs them as well. But it's something then that no one's ever seen before, so it's promoting other people on the table. So one of the things I really, really like is like grading card company or like someone that's done a custom piece that we've liked so much, we've put them on the table, their details are there, and we can just pass on information, and it's if people like that, then they go off and get it done. Like someone had some autographs from Mel Gibson, and that grading card company do an 8x4, and I pass that information on. They'll probably get them slabbed now, so it's like kind of promoting other people on the table, which I really like, which is hard for some artists to do because like they've obviously got to make money as well, and so. But for myself now, because I collect, it's kind of showing through that with some of the product that's out, they can physically see the cards some of my sketches were in, and I think that helps massively now. But it's very expensive to sort of collect, as it's the Upper Deck stuff. I wish they had someone here to sort of in the UK to sort of. I know they couldn't with Marvel when they had because of Panini had the license, but some of the Upper Deck products I found that people don't know they exist, and it's like they're old now, and I'm gonna maybe email and try and chat to them to see if they can find some way of getting them over here more, because I do it myself when I'm buying boxes. Shipping, the customs fees are a nightmare, so it's like it'd be nice at some point if there was a third party that could maybe. I know Dave and Adams do stuff like that, which is fantastic, But by the time like a collector gets sold of these, even some of the artists, because quite a few of us collect a few bits, by the time the set's out, like Aliens now, a sealed box of Aliens is $500. So yeah, so it's like, it's got to a point now, I've got my base card set, that's it now, the rest can go out on the table. And then other people then can either enjoy or curse me for it, so they can then go on and get bits that they're missing.
It's a trap. No, it's just me, Qui-Gon Jinn from The Long Take. And you're listening to the Rebel Base Card Podcast. Great pull, kid.
So I know you. Someone's been like eyeing those what looks like either Garbage Pail Kids or Pokemon. Before I cut you back.
Kids, yeah.
What you got coming up, and what are you excited about?
I can't say the licenses I've got coming up, but like I've got there's a set coming from Topps next week hopefully. But there's a UK software company that did do you remember the old Commodore 64 games? There's a company that did games called The Last Ninja, and they did a compilation on the PS5 Switch for The Last Ninja and IK Plus, and another one. But in 29 days they made £181,000. They've had merchandise now, and they're going to potentially open up a shop. Well, I've been pitching an idea to them to hopefully, fingers crossed, if I've nagged them enough, to do a trading card set. It's one of my favourite games of all time, and we've been chatting backwards and forwards, and they want to meet. So I'm trying to hope that they do, so I can pass on other artists' information to sort of get maybe a trading card set going. That's the future plan. Quite excited by that, and I'm hoping nothing might not come of that, but as a massive nerd of Commodore 64 and stuff, and that franchise of The Last Ninja, I'm hoping that they do, and they have listened, and they might, if not that, they've said that they might they might be interested in my artwork for something else. So, but I'm hoping that they'll take on a group of artists as well. So, fingers crossed with that one. I'm quite excited by that one actually. But yeah.
And just lastly, before I let you go, where can people find your artwork online?
Mainly Instagram, but I've got the weirdest name going on social media, so it's like some conventions don't like my usernames. It's Bumcheeks2, but I did that because I thought people would laugh. Kind of shows with the Garbage Pail Kids sort of side. I thought people would laugh, but mainly Instagram I do at the moment. But yeah. Just don't Google Bumcheeks.
Carl, it was a pleasure to get a chance to talk with you. I appreciate the time you gave me today, and enjoy the rest of the show. I'm sure you're going to see you because the convention's a circle, so I got to get around to it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you very much as well to you. Thank you.
This is Brandon Erdy from the Talking Bay 94 podcast, and you are listening to the Rebel Base Card podcast. Great pull, kid.
Well, I noticed earlier we were doing a little interview with Nick Gribbon, but I'm kind of curious, what was your interview about, and what were some of the questions?
So I asked Nick how long it takes him to finish one of his sketch cards. I asked him how long he's been doing art and working for Topps. And I asked him to tell me who his favourite character drawer is.
These are questions, by the way, I should have asked him yesterday. It's just like, I could be watching this interview, but how was it?
Wonderful, he's lovely.
Tell me about what you guys are doing around, like, who are you trying to interview, and where is this kind of going to go?
Yeah, so we're lucky enough to be trying to collaborate with LFCC today, and we've spoken to Robert Timothy Smith, who plays Neil, absolutely wonderful. Gerald, who plays the Great Mother in Ahsoka. We've caught Lateef Crowder, and we're hoping to catch Brendan Wayne. He's very, very busy.
That also begs a question, like, at a con like this, I know you got to pick spots. So how's been the reception, and, do you have to spend a lot of time kind of like, all right, this is how it's going to go? And
everyone's been really, really lovely about interviewing them, and really generous, giving us their time. And as well as that, other than that, like, we just wait around politely and hope we can get a spot between people signing things. So yeah, it's been great.
Can you kind of describe the gear, and how are you making this happen today?
So we are not technically savvy. We have kind of collected this by hook or crook over the years, people giving us tips and things like that. So we've got this gimbal, we've got my phone, Danny has a camera that she bought recently. What kind of camera is it?
This is a Canon 250D. It's an older model, but I don't need anything super fancy. The most fancy piece of gear we have, the DJI gimbal, which isn't the newest model, it's one of the older ones, and Luke's iPhone, which, by the way, rivals most cameras. So, like, you don't really need anything fancy to do this. You can do this with your phone.
I think it's really important not to think you have to have the best production value. I think it's just a lot of the battle, like with anything, is just giving it a go and doing it, and then build as you go. We would never have started if it was about production value.
Yeah, I think do the thing and then worry about the quality later.
Well, and then we're shooting in portrait mode, right?
Yes. So we are mainly based on social media still. So this is why we're still shooting in portrait mode. We're having this long debate at the moment about moving to YouTube and what that means for how we're going to shoot and zooming in and cropping things. It's still very much sort of in flux as to how we're going to deal with it, what we're going to do. But yeah, we are starting to notice the limitations of shooting in that manner. Yeah.
The aspect ratio debate is real.
And then how long will you be doing this today, or is it all day thing, or you're like, all right, from X to X, we're going to do this?
Yeah, so we're here all day. We're very lucky in that we're invited by LFC to do the whole weekend because I did the panel with Alex and with Nick yesterday. And we're just going to try and see as many people as possible, vendors, guests, even just people like yourself who are doing their own thing around the con, you know?
We've been trying to work out the balance for a while because we invited to cons as creators. We're very lucky to be given passes to create content. So I think when we get given a pass, we very much go with the mindset of like we're here to work and we spend the day trying to get content. It's not that we don't have fun, but like we're here to work, we're here to produce the content we've been asked to produce.
Yeah, just that's sad. We find it that fun.
Yeah, we have a nice time.
We don't see it as a free ticket. We see it as like an opportunity to sort of showcase what we do and what we could do for another company or another con or whatever, you know?
Well, in this case, for you, you were behind the camera on this one, but yesterday you were in front of a crowd doing a panel with Alex Ferns, and I would say that that's got to be a tough assignment because you're coming in cold and you're not really quite sure what you're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, that was my first ever panel with someone from the shows. I usually do panels around social media or cosplay, MCM, and they're a completely different kettle of fish, and I did all the research in the world I could, and I feel I gave it a good crack, and hopefully they'll have me back another time.
Excellent. And so we can get you guys back on, I want to make sure that I get names and what channels people can find you at.
So you can find me at Nelly Cosplay, Nelly Yaps on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that we across all social media. I kept it consistent.
Yeah. All right, well, it was a pleasure to end you. Once again, great job yesterday at the panel, and it was kind of fun watching, someone else work for a change, getting an interview. But I really appreciate your time and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, this is Carl LeClaire from the Wampa's Lair podcast, and you're listening to the Rebel Base Card podcast. Great pull, kid.
This was sort of an unexpected one, but I was kind of happy to get a chance to talk with you, Benjamin, because you do Star Wars Unlimited art, and I like seeing a variety of Star Wars art here. Could you tell me how you got involved with Star Wars Unlimited, and what were some of the cards you had a chance to work on?
I was in a very hectic and busy period of a lot of work, and then I just got an email which I scanned really quickly, but it said Star Wars, so then I just moved all my work aside so I could say yes to it, because it's not something you easily say no to. And they started out with just 3, which was really fun to start with. A bit of imposter syndrome to start as well, knowing that they will be checked by LucasArts and all that. But as soon as I got my first feedback, which was literally like, this is awesome, I was really surprised. And then it just kept coming for more, and I've done about 80 so far, so there's a lot coming.
I really liked what you said. We were talking before, and one of the things I like about Star Wars Unlimited is everybody kind of gets to use their own voice, especially now with a lot of the, the mainline Star Wars cards, a lot of artists, and they're very good. Do more, there's a little more photorealism in it as opposed to the old days when you got a variety of types. Is that something that just kind of, is it a little freeing for you?
Absolutely. At the start, they were guiding towards what kind of look this game would actually have. Even though they were already out, they were still changing the style a little bit, guiding a little bit more towards realism. And later on, they started to get a bit of a clearer view of what they wanted, which allowed the artists themselves to be a lot more free in or at least me as an artist. I felt far more comfortable in what I was allowed to do there. And even though it doesn't ask for a lot of creativity, they're very strict on the subject matter, obviously, which is already out there, it's still very free, and I'm allowed to talk in my own style, which is really appreciated. And I see that in a lot of other artists that work on it, that they really, it's so diverse, yet so coherent, and it's just a beautiful piece of art in general.
And have you seen a lot of the people who play the game here?
Not too many, not on this event, that is. There's a lot of people that didn't even know it was there yet. Big Star Wars fans that weren't aware that it was a game yet. But it's relatively fresh. It's relatively new. So I'm hoping that will change. But apart from this con, I've talked to many people. There's a very vibrant, very big community already. A lot of people online doing podcasts and videos and unpacking videos. It's just really cool to see that happening with it. And I think it's going to keep growing.
And also, what I liked is that right away, Star Wars Unlimited putting the artist's name on there. I know that with some of the other mainline ones, there was times in some of the Galaxy sets where you didn't quite know. And of course, these images are owned by, the creator and Lucasfilm, but you still want to see artists get their credit, even if the print's a little small. You still want to see it. Yeah, it's my work.
Exactly. This game would not be there without the artist. The art is one of the most important things on the cards, and I think the artist should be respected for that.
Now, I'm not going to press you whether it's like you're hardcore into the game or you understand it, but have you had a chance to kind of play it yourself and kind of see how it works, or have you gone to places where you see maybe your cards turn up?
Honestly, I've only seen my cards this weekend for the first time. I didn't have any of them, and people came by with their cards, and they gave me some of my own cards, which is really cool, and my neighbor bought me 3 booster packs of his own booth to have a chance to have one of my cards. There was one in there. So I've only seen him this weekend for the first time.
That would have to be something to be able to pull your own card and just,
It's an absolute blast. It's an absolute blast. I've been working in the entertainment industry for over nearly 20 years now, mainly in games where either none of my work is allowed to be seen. For Nintendo, for instance, we're not allowed to show anything, or most of the work I do is just thrown over the edge and then it never is released and it's just gone into the ether. And now finally I have something that I can actually show for and be part of, which is really cool.
And how have you enjoyed LFCC so far? I know we're kind of winding down on day 2, but how has been your experience?
Absolutely fantastic. I was flown here from the Netherlands, treated like an absolute rock star. Loving the vibe here, loving the people. It's so much fun to be part of this community, and I'm definitely coming back again.
And just so people can kind of find more of your work, where can they find you, and if you have any handles?
Best way to find out is on Instagram at art.benjaminpaulus, and follow my company Paganini, which is at Paganini Stories.
Benjamin, it was a pleasure running into you, and good luck with the rest of your con.
Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
Hello, this is Dennis.
And this is Jay, and we're from Podcast Stardust.
You're listening to the Rebel Base Card Podcast.
Great pull, kid.
All right, before I pop into the queue for Garrick, which right now it's finishing with Danny Glover, but as Daz and I have been talking, we walked past Danny Glover so much. I've seen him so much. I know more about Danny Glover now than I ever have. But Daz, you just finished an amazing experience with Meng Kui. You got to tell me what happened.
Oh, it was completely unexpected. I grabbed my auto with her earlier, and we had a nice conversation, and she's super interesting, as I expected, and very friendly. But lo and behold, she said, come on back later, when it's quiet, I'd love to chat some more. And I was kind of thinking, well, I don't know if I should, and, those nerves kick in. But, yeah, we went back over to her, well, it's probably like an hour ago now, and not only did I get to have a good chat with her, but she even just let me have a seat next to her at her table. And talk about, pinch me moments. I just couldn't believe what was happening. So yes, she's now, I'd say we're now besties. We're good friends, and it's been nice. I've just been having a good chat with her, and hearing all about the work that she's done on the Ahsoka series and the Kenobi. I don't know. It's made my year. I was sat there behind the table and I was thinking, how on earth am I here? This is absolutely brilliant. So I don't know if I can get a con moment to top this, to be honest. I may retire from conventions after this. I might have to talk to Ming about it, see if
Well, and hey, and I'm going to be the first to tell you out there, your convention mileage is going to vary, but at a day like this where we both were saying that you can tell the vibe is a little less, we're going to shift over as the Danny Glover line seems to be going pretty fast, and Garrick will be queuing up here in a minute. But I would say that even I had a chance to go back over, my sister reminded me that she'd worked at a convention 40 years ago when Colin Baker came over in Columbus. And I was able to even show him the photo, and he's like, oh, yeah. I was like, and he was starting to tell me about the people who ran those conventions at that time. And it was just like, 40 years between appearances for McLaughlin's. I mean, it's a long record, but it stands. But I think going a second day, right? I mean, if you have the means, and not every con is going to be like this, but I do feel that today is a little less pressure. Talked to some lovely people today, but nothing like yesterday. But I'm like,
It's a small world, isn't it? Goodness me. And I think that what both of our experiences show, just it's easy to get a little bit nervous in the moment, but just take that leap. I would say 99.9% of the time, the payoff is huge. The people who are here, the conventioners, guests, they want to talk to you. This is why they're here, and just go for it, because you never know what it might lead to. For me now, it's led to a new lifelong friendship with me, which wasn't on my bingo card for the weekend, but I will 100% take it.
Imagine if she does another one later on, and she'd be like, "Who are you?" No, but I'm just saying. But like I said, I think just with this, it's just I like what you said. Go in and just be. I think if you're yourself, I think if you never quite know. Like I said, they can always be in different moods at what things that happen. But I would say that if you're just yourself, more often than not, you're going to have a great experience. Well, tell you what, I'm gonna hop in here with Garrick. I think the queue is just starting to get there, but I did want to say thank you very much for hanging out this weekend. I think we'll kind of use this as kind of a way to kind of wrap things up, but I would say a rough start, but I think a great finish for us today. What do you think, Dan?
Absolutely. It's been a fabulous weekend. It's been great hanging out with you, and it's been one story moment after another. It's been a really good time.
I'd like to check out, refuel my ship, prepare for my immediate departure.
And I want to thank all the guests on, and I'm going to put too many names for me to mention now, but everybody was really awesome. It was a pleasure to get to meet everybody. We'll have their contact info in the show description. I'm going to let Card Squadron take it out. I'm going to hop in line, and we're going to kind of finish up today. So thanks very much for listening and the support everybody has been. Signing off from London Film and Comic Con, and we'll see you later.
This is Jonesy from the Cantina Cast, and you're listening to the Rebel Base Card Podcast. And everyone wants his tinfoil hat back.
The Rebel Base Card Podcast focuses on cards, collecting, and the Star Wars community, and appreciates you coming along for the ride.
If you have any feedback for this episode, you can reach out to the program in a number of ways. You can leave a comment on the Instagram post for this episode. You can also DM Greg on Instagram at Rebel Base Card.
Make sure to also follow the Rebel Base Card on Twitter and Facebook at Rebel Base Card. If you want, you can send an email to greg@rebelbasecard.com.
And you can find show notes for this and all episodes on the website rebelbasecard.com. In the Star Wars Card Trader app, and just about every other one, you can find Greg at CornFedTech.
The Rebel Base Card uses the hashtag Card Squadron as a way to alert friends about cool cards and recent drops in the galaxy far, far away. It's a great way to bring our community a little bit closer together and help one another finish our sets in time. We collect, communicate, and commiserate. Well, at least when we run out of credits or crystals to spend on our digital collections. Join the fun, even if all the other cool squadron names were already taken. And remember, we collect as one and would be honored if you join us.
And if you are a sketch card artist, or Star Wars artist or collector, cosplayer, and want to talk about your work, your craft or passion, drop Greg a line. I'm sure he'd love to hear your story. You can also help the show by leaving a comment or review on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you got this episode.
Otherwise, the mission is clear. Keep those cards out of the hands of the Empire, and the Rebel Base Card will return soon.
This podcast is not affiliated in any way with Topps, Disney, or Star Wars, nor is it endorsed by Disney or Lucasfilm, and is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. All names and sounds and any other related items are properties of their respective trademarks and or copyright holders here in the U.S. and abroad. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com.
That's it.